Bentonville West boys basketball joining the show, and JJ Andrews making his return to the hardwood and in our weekly honors. It is Tuesday, January 20th, and this is Varsity Vibe Today. Welcome into Varsity Vibe Today on this Tuesday. I'm your host, Alyssa Orange. Great to be with you. And of course, like most teams in the fall, the Bentonville West boys basketball team challenging themselves in the non-conference to get them ready for 6A West action this time of year. They're currently 14-4 and 3-1 in conference play, winning 3 straight games after their opening loss to Harbor. Head coach Trent Loyd and senior Cooper Moore joining the show to talk about the season so far and their confidence moving forward.
Yeah, our non-conference schedule was really difficult.
Yeah.
In December, we took off, went up to Kansas City twice. And we also hosted the X&A Showcase here with Bentonville High. And just a gauntlet December schedule for us, trying to get us ready for the 6A West. And, I thought our guys responded well. Like you said, we lost, I think, 3 right there in a row in December, 2 at our, 2 in the X&A Showcase, 1 on the back end of the Blue Valley. And, I think, what we've always said in non-conference is we want to know what we're good at, but we also want to know what we need to get better at before we get to the 6A West League. And so, we played well in a couple of those games. We just weren't able to finish it, but we were able to finish strong up at the Hy-Vee Center in Kansas City versus St. Petersburg team and a Life Prep Academy team. And so our non-conference slate was tough. We played some really good teams, really good coaches, and it got us prepared for the 6A West.
Yeah, Cooper, when you're heading into conference play, you know what you're getting really for the most part with teams that you've played against a lot. But how fun is that non-conference schedule when you're playing some of the best teams from around the region and really get to see exactly how you guys stack up?
I would say non-conference, honestly, is probably one of the best times of the year season-wise. Just going on the hotel trips with the guys, but ultimately getting us ready for conference play, especially with tough teams like St. Petersburg and that tough Kickapoo loss we had. The loss with Marion and Kickapoo back-to-back was definitely kind of a reality check for us, showing us what we needed. But the non-conference schedule, just preparing us for conference, is ultimately just the best thing you can have before conference, playing those tough teams.
So how did you see the team grow in that aspect? You're the one playing with them on the court, right? How did you guys grow as a team?
I would say just especially after those 2 tough losses, it was kind of showing us a lot of things we needed to work on. And practices before that were great practices, but obviously you can have better practices. And after those 2 losses, we grew defensively, which Kickapoo was a game where didn't put ultimately 4 quarters together. And defense was the biggest thing that killed us there, giving up too many points in the 4th quarter. But just showing us what we needed to do defensively and work on a lot of things and grow on the defensive side. And that's led us to where we are now. I think sitting at 12-4, 13-4, and defense is what we take pride on, and that growing on the defensive side for sure.
Yeah, Trent, when you head into a season, you kind of have an idea of what your team has and doesn't have, the identity you think that this team has. Where are they right now versus maybe where you thought they would be when you headed into the season?
Yeah, when you have 4 returning starters, you feel pretty comfortable about what you've got, right? And so when you've got guys like Cooper, Landon Price, Drake Tidwell, Carter Coleman that all have been there and done that before together, you just high quality people, high quality basketball players, obviously. But they just showed up every day in the fall ready to get better. They challenged themselves. They were pushing each other. They just showed a lot of maturity. They know how much pride we take on the defensive side, but they also know that the tempo we want to play with on the offensive end. And so, you're always looking to get better. Our focus was we knew we had guys that could guard. We knew we had guys that took pride in that. But offensively, that's where we wanted to grow in the non-conference. And, I think we did that. And so it started in the fall. It started this summer. But non-conference play, you look and we've scored 70s, we've scored 80s. And so we're able to play a lot of different styles of basketball, which is what you got to do in this league.
Yeah, you lose to Harbor, but you've won the last 2. As conference continues to unfold, what is this team's identity, you believe, right now?
Yeah, I just think as far as what we want to be, it's a team that when you watch us, someone says, man, they're tough. Defensively, they're tough. They compete. They take pride in it. But offensively, they've got a lot of dudes that can score the basketball. And that's what we've got. We've got a lot of guys that can score. We've got a lot of guys that they play off each other well. We love our roster. We love our guys in the locker room. And they're a fun group to be around. Every day you show up excited, ready to get to work. And, it makes it fun. And so when they believe in themselves and believe in each other like this group does, sky's the limit.
Cooper, when you're getting ready for these teams in the 6A West, everybody's got dudes, right? Everyone's got players that you're studying and watching film on. Let's specifically use the Rogers win, for example. And they've got a guy like Chris Hill, and he's able to score, and that. How fun is it to be able to game plan against these guys, then for you guys to go out there and prove what Bentonville West can do?
I would say, it's awesome. Scout ultimately in practice is probably one of the best things that we do. And one of the most fun things, in my opinion, we've got a great team, like great guys, and the scout team is just awesome going up against dudes that don't normally play but get to showcase what they can do in practice. And especially with guys like Chris Hill and Rogers, and give credit to Gus Crow. He played really good, one of the best dudes on that team. And just being able to scout and then go up against these guys and know exactly what they're going to do and just have the keys to win in front of you in practice. Just being able to lock them down is just really good feeling knowing what they're going to do.
If I were to ask you your role with this team, how would you answer that?
I would say I'm a leader for sure. And then just going out there and knowing exactly what I do. Coach Powell is always telling me that I don't need to expand my game. And sometimes even I agree with him. I know I'm a shooter. I know I play defense, and I take pride in those two things I do. And when I bring those every single night, ultimately it ended up in a win for us, just doing what I do.
Coach mentioned you have 4 returning starters. Just how beneficial is that, being on the court with guys who have played together for so long and kind of know what it takes to win games when it matters, and being a part of that unit?
It's great having the experience for sure with dudes that I've been playing with since my freshman year, and a sophomore, another senior. Just having that experience and having guys that have played the game for so long that the game just comes to them and they've got a feel for it. It's great, having dudes to play with, knowing to take the right shot, knowing to make the right pass, and those high IQ decisions playing with seniors and experience just comes down to helping us win games and making the right plays in clutch moments.
Yeah, Coach, it's January. There's a lot of basketball left. What do you want to see this team continue to grow in? Maybe some areas you think you guys have a lot of growth left in you?
Yeah, I think this time of year, you're always still looking to get better. After every game, we're watching film and we clip the things we do good, but we're also clipping the things that we do bad to figure out, what's that 1% every day that you can figure out, whether it's just for us to get an advantage on somebody, or maybe it's just us individually of figuring out how we keep growing our game. And so, whether it's screen angles, whether it's timing, whether it's defensively, our walling up, or, our gap coverage, any of that stuff. I think at this time of year, everyone's still looking to get better. You don't want to be the best version of yourself in January. You want to be that in March. And so that's our goal right now. Guys like Cooper, Landon Price, Drake Tidwell, those, the seniors, Doug Campbell, CJ Coleman, every day in practice right now, they're showing up trying to challenge us to be the best version of ourselves. Show up daily, get better, understand that sometimes there's, such things as criticism that can be positive, right? And so being able to hold each other accountable, which is the relationships these guys have, it's a trust factor. And so, getting better daily.
West with a big opportunity ahead of them. They play Fayetteville on the road tonight. The Purple Dogs 4-0 in the 6A West.
This is the most fun I've had playing basketball. Tonight was just a great night. I was out there having fun. I wasn't worried about anything.
After his return to the court on Friday night, Little Rock Christian's J.J. Andrews is this week's Lindsey Boys Athlete of the Week, helping the Warriors get back into the win column. J.J. with 13 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists in less than 15 minutes of action. Little Rock Christian defeating Catholic 78-35.
Going into the rest of the conference, I feel great. I saw it tonight. We were playing for each other. We weren't worried about anything on the stat sheet. We were just trying to do the small things that don't show up on the stat sheet. So honestly, it was just big for us to play together, have fun, and just not play as tense and have fun.
Andrews has been recovering from a wrist injury he suffered at the Hoopin' on the Hill event in December. But just because he wasn't on the court doesn't mean he was absent.
One of the great things over these last few weeks, obviously you never want to lose a guy like JJ, but seeing his belief and his growth as a leader, that's the product you see on the floor. He's built that relationship with the guys, and you just see everybody being comfortable when he's back. Nobody's pressing. The fun and the joy comes back to our team with a guy like him, and we really talked about that over these last couple of weeks. Is we got to find that joy again and that kid-like attitude where you're just having fun playing basketball.
Congratulations to JJ Andrews, our Lindsey Boys Athlete of the Week, #1 in golf, real estate, and apartments. That's going to do it for Varsity Vibe today. Thank you so much for joining us on this Tuesday. And again, it's game night across the state, and we've got a lot of our creatives at games bringing you some highlights and all access stuff on our social media platforms. So make sure to follow along there on Instagram, X, Facebook, and TikTok for all of the latest. Make sure to also sign up for our newsletter at varsityvibearkansas.com. That'll come to your inbox twice a week, and subscribe to the podcast and the YouTube channel. A special thank you to our sponsors. We could not do it without them here at Varsity Vibe. So we are so, so grateful for them. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll see you guys tomorrow.